Boy, I just was thinking 30 years back, and I said, as I knew Kai, that's why Kai do the video, and Kai go down, Kai lean without fear or favor. Because while back 30 years ago, many of them were drug dealers, Kai was the father to the fatherless. And the fathers that weren't there, Kai was paying the bills. And boy, they were the best days of our lives in Dunderstown. All the young men that I was father to, they are now fathers. And you could ask them quietly by themselves, the man that they knew, that y'all call the myth, the troublemaker. Ask them about Kai Mills and his fatherly role as coach, president of the Abaco Basketball Association. I think I was the first one in Abaco that was the president. I coached and I played while I was coaching, just to try to show them what should be done on the basketball court. I'm one of those guys that could see all 9 players on the court and outthink them. That's what makes you brilliant. And some of the young men that I coached back then, you see him at the airport, he probably was the smartest, most talented player that I ever coached, Dwayne Pa Adley. That boy had enough talent, if he had the right coaching abroad, to make it to the NBA. He was a student, can see all the court like Kai Mills. Sometimes he thought he was the coach when we called timeout. And we have people like Mark Douglas, Deron Douglas, Jared Douglas. They were all my pupils. Those boys never bought a shoes in their life, a tennis. A matter of fact, I never bought a 200 pair of Jordans in my life, but I bought Jordans for them. That's $600 just for the 3 Douglas boys. I wonder if they remember that. I doubt it. You had Marvin Boodle. You had, with all the boys that I trusted, I missed him the most, is Teddy Delancey. We call him G. I trust Teddy so much that I give Teddy whatever money I had, $8,000, $10,000, I would give it to G. I say, keep my money. And those boys know that he had the money. And some of them are so worthless, they tried to take the money from G. That's Teddy Delancey. And when I found out, well, we ain't gonna talk what I did with them, because they were turning out to be thieves in the basketball camp. They're the things that you don't know. Jamal Russell, all those boys, they were under Kai Mills' guardians. I would take 20 guys. Only you need to take 15 to a school meet U Campbell. And I would take 20 because I understand that you have to teach the next crew to take over. You imagine I was running a league. They had not one physical education teacher at Abaco Central High. Kai had to teach the kids at Abaco Central High. For 5 years I did it. Buy the uniform, the plane tickets. The teachers and the parents did nothing. They had nothing. I had a business that I was bringing in money, and I invested in my kids. Abaco Central High, my school, my community. I couldn't get anybody in Marshall but besides his and her jeans to sponsor Dunderstown, so most of the time Kai sponsored Dunderstown team. These are the things that you don't know about Kai growing up fatherless like most of these young guys. But I made sure that these guys, if they ever get in trouble with the police, they would never be able to be on the team. And I end up in lockup every other weekend because I speak against the corruption of the police in Abaco. So I officially, all my life has been in locked up locked out just because you speak. So it doesn't do any good when I hear people calling me and said, I appreciate what you do, thank you. Don't thank me. God gave me the talent, and I'm using what God gave me. I didn't bury my head in the sand like most of us and accept the corruption and hope that the corruption come my way so I could get a little something. I don't want none of that type of money. That does nothing for nobody. Remember all those big time drug dealers that had brand new car, brand new house, brand new wife, brand new Rolex, everything new? That has passed. Bob Marley said, do not keep looking to the sky for money to fall into your hands. You gotta work. Bob told me that many decades ago. So said, so done. But the moral of this story is that and it has been very hard growing up in Abaco, but we didn't know that it was hard because we made the best out of the worst situation. We are still, 30 years later, don't have a gymnasium, not even close to gymnasium, not even a sensible playing arena in nowhere in Abaco. Not one court is up to playing condition, but they want us to go to Bahama game and to compete with people like in Freeport and Nassau that has a proper track, has 10 and 12 coaches, have a gymnasium, but we are out in the elements. We can't even practice at night. 4 years later, we have no lights to practice. So how are we gonna compete when the game is not fair? They are 10 steps ahead of us at the starting line. How are we gonna compete with the people that have already ready 10 steps and we're 10 steps behind them because the government and nobody saw it fit to complete or to start any sporting facilities in Abaco, but they'll have us in there like a bunch of jackasses trying to compete with Nassau, Freeport, and the rest of them that have leagues, proper leagues going throughout 4 years while we went through Hurricane Nicole and Hurricane Doreen. We had officially, the rest of the Bahamas doesn't know this, that we had 2 hurricanes and 3 years and not one single playing field is up ready to play. And then the government gave the contract to a preacher in Mose Island to be in charge of sports in Abaco. He's officially has been getting paid for 1 year, but he haven't showed up to work yet. When is he gonna open the sports office? Anytime you get money for a job that you don't deserve or you're not working, it's called thieving. My friends, they don't say they stealing, they thieving. So the reverend gentleman in Mose Island that has been collecting a salary in charge of sports in Abaco for over a year and you haven't showed up, man, that is thieving. And you are a pastor. Give that money to somebody, but don't spend that because God know it ain't right. Kai know it ain't right. And when are you gonna speak for lights? You can't even get lights. As diehard PLP as you are, but you can't get nothing done. Your claim to fame is that you coach somebody that won an Olympic. You're one-dimensional. So what? Do not collect monies if you're not doing the job. That is called corruption. That is why Kai coached so many years to keep our kids from the same corruption that you are partaking in as the man that's supposed to be in charge of sports in Abaco, but you haven't showed up for work 1 week yet. And when you show up, we got to pay for your travel, your hotel. All of us are losing because they picked the wrong man to be in charge of sports, youth and sports in Abaco, and he's one-dimensional, knows just a little bit about track, but everything else is lost. Jesus still saves, Kai still cares.